Oh, Celtics fans, just brace yourselves. Didn't we just finish a season that ended in heartbreak, with our superstar sidelined? And now, as the dust settles, the reality of this offseason hits you like a rogue elbow in the paint. We're talking about chasing unicorns in trade scenarios, navigating complex financial landscapes, and potentially scraping the bottom of the free agent barrel just to fill out the roster. How in the world are the Boston Celtics going to build a championship contender next year when they're already facing this much uncertainty and financial gymnastics? Let's try to make sense of the chaos. The Boston Celtics are staring down an offseason that promises significant change. After falling short of their championship aspirations this past season, the roster you saw on the court will look considerably different when the 2025-26 campaign tips off. And the biggest, most painful reason for that impending change is the devastating news that Jason Tatum is expected to miss most, if not all, of next season after suffering a torn Achilles tendon. That injury fundamentally alters the team's immediate future and, crucially, their offseason strategy. With their undisputed best players sidelined, the Celtics' primary goal this offseason has shifted dramatically. While they still aim to be competitive, shedding salary is now a major priority. They need financial flexibility to navigate Tatum's absence and prepare for his eventual return. However, amidst this stark reality, there's still the tantalizing, almost unbelievable possibility of making a move that could instantly catapult them back into title contention, even without Tatum for a significant period. We're talking about the potential, however slim, of trading for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yes, that Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Greek freak, the two-time MVP, the former Finals MVP, arguably the best player who could realistically become available on the trade market this summer. The idea of pairing Giannis with a healthy Jason Tatum down the line is the stuff of NBA fan fiction, a nightmare scenario for the rest of the league. But even with Tatum out, adding Giannis would instantly make the Celtics a force to be reckoned with in the Eastern Conference. So, how could the Celtics possibly pull off such a blockbuster? It would require a package centered around significant salary and assets. According to reports and analysis, any potential trade for Antetokounmpo would almost certainly have to include Kristaps Porzingis. Porzingis' salary is substantial, and he's a valuable player in his own right, providing size and shooting. To make the salaries work, and to make the offer more appealing to the Milwaukee Bucks, the Celtics would also likely need to include Derek White, a fan favorite, and an incredibly effective two-way guard. Combining the salaries of Porzingis and White gets the Celtics close to matching Antetokounmpo's massive $57.6 million salary for next season, totaling around $58.9 million. But here's where the NBA's complex salary cap rules, specifically the second apron restrictions that the Celtics are firmly entrenched in, make things incredibly difficult. As a second apron team, the Celtics have very little flexibility in trade construction. Salaries in a trade must match almost exactly. That means even with Porzingis and White included, the Bucks would likely need to add a small salary player or two to their side of the deal to make the numbers align perfectly. Players like Chris Livingston and Tyler Smith from the Bucks roster have been mentioned as potential additions to the trade to help facilitate salary matching. Beyond the salaries, the Bucks would demand significant draft capital for a player of Giannis's caliber. The Celtics don't have the deepest war chest of future first-round picks compared to some other teams that might pursue Giannis. However, they would likely need to include at least 2 future first-round picks in any offer to even get the Bucks to pick up the phone and take the conversation seriously. There's also the possibility that a third team could get involved to help facilitate the salary matching or provide additional assets to Milwaukee, but that adds another layer of complexity to an already incredibly difficult transaction. And let's not forget the human element and the recent history between these two franchises. The Bucks might be hesitant to trade their franchise cornerstone to the very team that acquired Drew Holiday from them just last year, a move that directly contributed to the Celtics' success and the Bucks' subsequent struggles. There could be a lingering reluctance to help out a direct Eastern Conference rival, especially one that benefited so immediately from a previous trade. The cold, hard truth is that the Boston Celtics do not have the most attractive trade package available for Giannis Antetokounmpo compared to other teams around the league who might have more draft picks or more appealing young, cost-controlled talent. That doesn't mean Celtics president of basketball operations Brad Stevens shouldn't make the call. You absolutely make the call. You explore every single possibility, no matter how remote. Because adding Giannis Antetokounmpo to the current roster, even one without Tatum for a while, would instantly vault the Celtics back into the conversation for the NBA Finals. His individual brilliance, his ability to dominate on both ends of the floor, is simply unparalleled. This past season, even with the Bucks' internal turmoil, Giannis averaged a phenomenal 30.1 points, 11.9 rebounds, and 6.5 assists per game. He's a one-man wrecking crew. The dream of him in a Celtics uniform is powerful, but the path to making it a reality is fraught with obstacles. Moving from the realm of improbable dreams to more grounded, albeit still intriguing possibilities, the Boston Celtics are also reportedly engaging in trade discussions with the Houston Rockets. This isn't entirely surprising. The Celtics are actively looking to shed salary this offseason, and when teams around the league know you're looking to make trades, your phone tends to ring. According to Kelly Iko of The Athletic, the Rockets are anticipating conversations with Boston's front office this offseason. This makes sense from Houston's perspective. They were one of the biggest surprises in the NBA this past season, finishing with an impressive 52-30 record and securing the number 2 seed in the highly competitive Western Conference. Former Celtics coach Ime Udoka did a remarkable job in his second season, transforming the Rockets into a legitimate playoff team. They have a solid core of intriguing young players and appear poised to take the next step towards true contention. Despite their significant leap forward, the Rockets' first-round playoff exit in 7 games against the Warriors highlighted areas where they can improve, particularly on the offensive end. This is where the Celtics could potentially become trade partners. While the Rockets are also rumored to be interested in the Giannis Antetokounmpo sweepstakes, and from an asset standpoint, they might be in a better position than the Celtics to make a compelling offer for the Greek Freak, conversations with Boston could revolve around other players. The Rockets have multiple intriguing players, and the Celtics have players they might want to move to reduce salary. Could a deal involve a player the Rockets covet who the Celtics are willing to part with to save money? Could it be a multiplayer deal designed to balance rosters and financial sheets? It's sounding like the Rockets are waiting to see how the initial stages of the offseason market play out before potentially engaging in more serious discussions, but the anticipation of talks is certainly there. For the Celtics, any trade with Houston would likely be focused on shedding salary and perhaps acquiring a player who fits their needs on a more team-friendly contract rather than a massive blockbuster acquisition. Finally, let's address the harsh reality that the Celtics' offseason won't just be about big trades. With Tatum's injury and the team's cap situation, they are going to have significant holes on the roster to fill with very little money to spend. This is where Brad Stevens and the front office are going to have to earn their money, sifting through the less expensive options in free agency to find contributors on minimum contracts. The willingness of the new ownership group to spend deep into the luxury tax from day one remains a question mark. And if financial restraints are placed on Stevens, the roster could look significantly different next season, not just because of Tatum's injury, but because of the caliber of players they can afford to bring in. Fans are already bracing for this possibility, and Brian Robb of MassLive.com recently highlighted 2 veteran forwards he would consider if the Celtics are limited to signing players for the veterans' minimum, Jae'Sean Tate and Taurean Prince. Now, let's be honest, neither Jae'Sean Tate nor Taurean Prince are names that are going to send shockwaves through the NBA or dominate headlines. But both players have proven during their time in the league that they can be valuable contributors when placed in the right role on a team. Between them, they bring 15 seasons of NBA experience, providing a solid sample size to evaluate their potential fit in Boston. Of the 2, Taurean Prince has been the more consistent offensive producer throughout his career. The former Baylor standout holds career averages of 9.9 points per game, shooting a respectable 43% from the field and a solid 38% from beyond the three-point arc. That ability to knock down threes and provide some scoring punch from the forward position is exactly the kind of skill set the Celtics would be looking for in a minimum salary player. Jae'Sean Tate, while perhaps less consistent as a scorer, is known for his toughness, defensive versatility, and hustle, qualities that are always welcome on a competitive team. We're going to see countless names linked to the Celtics in the coming weeks as free agency approaches. Brad Stevens and the front office are going to need to work some serious magic to navigate this offseason successfully. Between Tatum's injury, the cap constraints, the second apron limitations, and the need to find value in a challenging market, the Celtics are simply not in a position where they can afford to be picky about the moves they make. Every potential acquisition, whether it's a long-shot superstar trade, a salary-shedding deal, or a minimum free agent signing, will need to be carefully considered to build the most competitive roster possible under incredibly difficult circumstances. All right, Celtics fans, that's the complex and frankly a little bit daunting look at the offseason ahead. From the Giannis dream to the Rockets talks to the minimum free agents, there's a lot to unpack. What do you think is the most realistic path for the Celtics to improve the roster? Should they take a big swing or focus on smart, smaller moves? Let me know your thoughts, your trade ideas, and your free agent targets in the comment section below. I'm genuinely curious to hear how you think the Celtics should navigate this. And hey, if you appreciate this deep dive into the Celtics offseason challenges and you want to see more reports like this, please do me a huge favor and hit that like button right now. Seriously, smashing that like button is the best way to support the channel and helps us keep bringing you this exclusive analysis. Drop a comment, hit the like button, and let's keep the conversation going. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll be back soon with more updates on the Boston Celtics and the wild NBA offseason.